Hello guys, and welcome back to the Formula One Bible channel. The US Grand Prix has always had a tumultuous past. No one could agree on where it should be held as the event bounced around all four corners of the country. But in 2000, it looked like F1 had a winner: the Indianapolis Motor Speedway infield road course. However, the 2005 US Grand Prix fell apart in spectacular fashion due to a track repave, insider information, an ongoing tire war, and a stubborn sanctioning body. Do you remember this race? We think is the most unseen race ever in F1 history. Leave a comment if you watched it. So without any further ado, let's start. F1 is one of the most popular sports in the US in 2023. Thanks to the amazing fans of the sports and a recent documentary series on F1 called Drive to Survive, released by Netflix. But in 2005, things were a bit different. After 14 Formula One race car drivers withdrew due to safety concerns over the Michelin-made tires on their vehicles, German driver Michael Schumacher wins a less than satisfying victory at the United States Grand Prix on June 19, 2005. The race, held at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Indianapolis, Indiana, will go down one of the most controversial Formula One racing events in history. The US Grand Prix has always had a tumultuous past. Initially, no one could agree where it could be held. Generally, a place that can show country's national identity and strength should be chosen. British Grand Prix has Silverstone, 2 regions for Germany. Canada has a man-made island created in 1976 for the Olympics. US has many, including Las Vegas, Phoenix, Long Beach, Detroit, and Indianapolis. US has rich history of racing and strong car culture, but they prefer homegrown racing promotions as opposed to the Eurocentric Formula One. Why Grand Prix in US? The CEO of Formula One's parent business was Bernie Ecclestone. Since he began working there in the 1970s, he has wanted to have a race on Manhattan streets, or at the very least use the city as a scenic background. He would do anything to obtain it, but in the year 2000, a race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the country's most illustrious and historic racetrack, presents itself as the second best option. Tony George, the then owner of IMS, finished making the necessary changes to the track so that it now has an infield road course. The layout still makes use of the frame front stretch, but the cars now travel into the infield after traveling clockwise down the strike. Preparations for Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The biggest point of interest, turn 13, or IndyCar Turn 1, a long sweeping corner with 9.2 degrees of banking. There's no track in F1 that has a corner anything close to it. It's a big hit, with fans who buy tickets near the turn in droves, and the best part for the FIA. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway has already footed the bill for the renovations, and massive seating capacity is already there for a part of the country that is as car crazy as they come. Plus, one of F1's biggest factory teams, Honda, has a major manufacturing plant just an hour down the road. Hype is massive for the first race in 2000, and it goes off without a hitch, same as the case for 2001 and all the other ensuing years. Issues at the 2005 Grand Prix. Let's start off with the tipping point for this whole cascade of events: the track surface. By the time 2004 wrapped up, the track surface at Indy was getting pretty old, and it was time for a repave. IMS opted to use diamond grinders to make the track surface as smooth as glass. This eliminates any bumps that might naturally form on the racing track. If you use a harder rubber compound to deal with it, and the Indy 500 held just 1 month before the US Grand Prix, saw no serious issues over the repave, might have been negligible had it not been for the other deciding factor going into race week. 2 days before the race, driver Ralf Schumacher, Michael's brother, crashed in practice while negotiating the Speedway's bumped right-hand 13th turn. Michelin, makers of Schumacher's tires, determined that the tires they had supplied for the Grand Prix could not withstand the high speed on the turn, and asked the FIA, the sanctioning body for Formula One races, for permission to send another batch of tires. The FIA refused, citing its mandate that only 1 set of tires be used in a weekend. The organization also refused Michelin's petition to build a series of turns, designed to slow down cars before the 13th turn, despite the fact that the Speedway's chief executive and 9 out of the 10 teams in the race agreed that the track could be altered. The only team that didn't was Ferrari, the team of Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello, who ended up finishing second, and one of 3 teams in the race that used Bridgestone tires instead of Michelin. In the end, 14 cars stayed in the garage for the Grand Prix. The 6 remaining cars were from the Bridgestone-outfitted Ferrari, Minardi and Jordan teams. The race itself featured one moment of excitement, when Michael Schumacher almost collided with Barrichello after a pit stop, forcing Barrichello off the track briefly and onto the grass before he regained his bearings. Many disgruntled fans left early, while others threw beer bottles and other debris from the stands and booed the victory ceremony, during which a subdued Schumacher declined to spray the customary bottle of champagne into the crowd. Bridgestone and Michelin's tire war have been pretty quiet up to the US Grand Prix. Only a few minor flare-ups in the late 90s and early 2000s are of note, and even then the worst that would happen is one manufacturer's teams. It was a bit disheartening for fans that things usually boiled down to tires being the deciding factor in 2005. The teams that used Michelin tires issued a joint apology to fans and sponsors, while Michelin later reimbursed some ticket holders for the event. Though many faulted Michelin for not providing adequate tires and agree that the Ferrari team had the right to insist that the race course not be changed, many felt a compromise would have benefited Formula One racing as a whole, especially in the United States, where it was still seeking to build a solid fan base. The 2005 Grand Prix had drawn a crowd of some 100,000 fans, far less than that attracted by the Indianapolis 500 or regular NASCAR Nextel Cup event. In this video, we have discussed the complications of the 2005 US Grand Prix and how it was the worst Grand Prix ever. Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more exclusive content and future updates on this story. For everything else regarding Formula One, stick to the Formula One Bible channel. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.